Hello everybody, this is Deanna with Food Bank Beautiful, and it is Monday, the, 27th, 28th, we don't know, somewhere around there. Look it up on your phone. You know, I never know those things. And I am here today to go ahead and introduce a new series that I'm going to do from time to time. And it is going to be feeding my family for a week on the groceries that I got at the food bank. Now, I was due to go to the food bank last Thursday. I got all packed up and ready to go, and my car wouldn't start. And I thought, oh, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. I'll go next week. Well, this is next week, and guess what? My food bank does not have their regular food bank this week. Instead, they are doing a big, glorious event for the kids in the community. I think it's called Trunk or Treat or something like that. And I support that 100%. I love that. But it is not a food bank opportunity. So I will not be going this week. So the following week, short of any catastrophe, I will make it to the food bank again. Now, I went through and watched about the last 4 food bank haul videos that I did, and then I went through and I gathered up the things that I am most likely to get at the food bank on a regular basis, a very good representation, and I'm going to show you to that what I have, and then we're going to use that for this week's project of feeding my entire family with what I have in front of me. Now, I don't know. I think it's going to be okay because my food bank is pretty generous, and even what I put out for you is not as much as my food bank will give me in a week. So I kind of wanted to be a little more representational for those of you across the country who maybe don't get the same amounts that I get. I also only put one splurgy item on my counter, and sometimes I can get this at the food bank and sometimes not, but I am going to include one of those things here. We are also going to do it in another category at the same time. What I have on the counter, just this plus salt, pepper, and vegetable oil. That is all I'm going to use in the good category. So I might make something with only, whatever I have out here plus salt, pepper, and oil, and we're going to call that good. And then I'm going to show that same dish to you a little bit better. So it's going to be good, better. Better might be a teaspoon of butter that I have, in the refrigerator. It might be a little chicken broth that I made 2 weeks ago with a carcass that I got from the food bank. It might be a couple tablespoons of brown sugar, whatever. So we're going to call it good, better. And then we're going to add a third category called best, where I really take that item that I made and we shoo it up and we make it as good as possible with whatever we have in our cupboards. Now, I'm not going to add groceries to this. I'm not going to take my tortillas and say good is just the tortilla, better is a tortilla with a little bit of cheese, and best is a tortilla with steak sliced thinly. We don't have steak sliced thinly. So we're going to try to keep it pretty real for you. An example might be oatmeal. So oatmeal is something that I can get at the food bank every single time I go. All right. So if I needed to feed my family, oatmeal is a really good place to start. I can do oatmeal with a little bit of salt. It is plain. It is good. It is good because it fills you up, right? If you don't have any other options and you're hungry, you better believe a bowl of oatmeal is good. Now, most people have a little bit more than what they got at their food bank. So we might take that same bowl of oatmeal and make it better. And better might be a teaspoon of margarine or a teaspoon of butter and maybe a tablespoon of brown sugar. And we've gone from good to better. Best might be everything we just talked about with a little bit of chopped apple on the top, or maybe you've got some apples that you were able to cook down with a little bit of cinnamon and put that on your oatmeal, and you've gone from better to best. Where I can do that for you to give you ideas, I will do that. Now, I don't know what you guys are going to think about this. So I want to remind you that keep your comments respectful. All right? This is just an exercise. This is not the Bible. This is not the Holy Grail. Everybody's different. Everybody eats differently. You may not like what you see. You might not think that you could ever eat a bowl of oatmeal with only salt, but I promise you, you can. Okay? Are you going to love it? No. Is it going to be your best breakfast ever? No. All right? Now, I'm going to show you what I have on the counter, and this is what I'm going to cook with for a week. Okay? I'm going to take photographs of everything, and at the end of every day, I'm going to show you what I used for those 3 meals. All right? Okay. So let's go ahead and start with that. Now, my food bank is very generous with their proteins. So, like I said, I went back through the last 4 to get a representational showing of what my food bank would normally give me, a family of 3, for a 1 to 2 week period. So let's start. A pound of ground beef. I always get this. I've never gone to the food bank and not gotten a pound of hamburger. So that's lovely. Some of you are so good you could feed your whole family on a pound of hamburger. So this is pretty generous. Also, my food bank 9 times out of 10 will offer me fish. And they'll give me anywhere between 3 and 6. Sometimes it's pollock, sometimes it's another white fish, and sometimes it is salmon fillets. So the last time that I went, they gave me 3 salmon fillets. So that's what we're using. And then they will almost always give me a chicken product. And the last time I went, oh my God, they gave me about a 2-pound whole chicken. And that's what we're going to use, okay? So those are my proteins. Now, the food bank gives me additional proteins in the canned section. So I almost always get a can of chicken, and when they have a ton of these, I can take 2. They almost always have tuna, so I can choose to take a chicken and a tuna, 2 tunas if they have a lot, or 1 of each. For this video, I'm doing 1 of each. 1 can of tuna, 1 can of chicken. I know, some of you are going, girl, I can feed my family for 3 weeks on that. Listen, I know you can. You guys are amazing. So that's our protein. Now, my food bank, every time I go, has dry beans available to me, usually 4 or 5 varieties. Pinto, black beans, kidney beans, navy beans, and garbanzo beans. So I don't have a bag to hold up and show you as if I had gone to food bank because I've already put that stuff in jars. Now I have jars of all those beans, okay? But I'm only pulling out 1 type of bean because you might not have the same access that I have. So here's my jar of pinto beans right here. Here is my jar of rice right here. And here is my jar of quick oatmeal. All right. So, and if I had gone to the food bank would have given me a 1-pound bag. So it would be about this much. So we're not going to go past the halfway mark. All right. I'm going to do my best. Now for produce, I generally get greater than what I'm showing you here, but I've tried to reduce it down and make it a little more realistic for those of you who sometimes have food banks that give you less, all right? So I pulled out a not so attractive thing of lettuce out of the bottom of my refrigerator. This is pretty, you know, a lot of you get this on a regular basis with maybe a blemish on it. So that's what we're going to use, all right? I usually have access to a couple of onions, 3 or 4 onions, and I have some in my pantry, but I also have some frozen. So we're going to use these frozen onions as, and we're not using bags and bags of them. We're not using more than this. This is the equivalent of maybe 1 big onion. Usually when I go to the food bank, although I have gotten more at times, and I have certainly gotten, you know, 50-pound bags of carrots at the well, but a lot of times they come in a bag of 3 or 4 carrots, so I pulled out 3. We're going to stay with 3. Sometimes, pretty frequently, I can get avocados, so I pulled out 2. Sometimes they're in a big box and you can pick 5 or 6. We're going to work with 2. Some of you may be thinking that is an absolute luxury, and you are right. This is a luxury. I also have some grapes, and I have about this many, and that is usually representational of the amount of grapes I can get at the food bank. That's pretty common, not every week, but I would say 1 out of 3 weeks grapes are available. Also apples. So I have 3 apples that I pulled out, and that's what we're going to use for fruit today for this week. A lot of times I can get bananas and oranges. A lot of times they will give me a bag of frozen fruit like peaches or strawberries or blueberries. We're leaving that out. Not everybody can get that. And then almost always this time of year I can get a head of cabbage. So I pulled out a head of cabbage. Now, let's see, some of the other things. Usually my food bank has an opportunity for 3 or 4 bread items. So I picked out 3 that are pretty representational of what you can get. Nothing fancy. I didn't pull out, you know, the times that I've gotten gorgeous gourmet rosemary and olive bread. I pulled out what is pretty representational of food bank items. So 1 loaf of white bread, 1 package of bagels. These are the jalapeno bagels. My husband will eat those. And then 1 package of English muffins. And I have gotten these at the food bank, I would say, again, once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks, I'm able to get that. So that's what we're doing for bread. For my pantry items, oh, I'm sorry, I have one more thing on the bread. I can almost always get tortillas at the food bank, so I added a package of tortillas. Now, for pantry items, this is what I got, kind of representational. Now, my food bank will allow me to take a lot more than what I'm showing you. I don't do that very often, but I just tried to do something that I thought would be, you know, close to what you might be getting. So in my pantry items, I have 1 Dinty Moore stew. I have 1 tomato sauce and 1 diced tomato. I have 2 cans of green beans. Usually they allow me to take 2 cans of vegetables, this kind. So I pulled out 2 cans of green beans. And then I pulled out 1 can of pasta sauce. Usually that's available every time. And a can of Veg-All, because Veg-All is available to me all the time. Now, we're not putting 10 cans of Veg-All out there. We're putting 1 can, okay? I also pulled out a little thing of hatch chilies. I think I got this the last time I went, so I felt that was representational. Peanut butter. Now, I have peanut butter that I got at the food bank. You can see that it's half eaten, And we're just going to use this, okay? You might be able to get a full jar. I always get a full jar, but it takes me a while to go through it. So we're just going to use this, all right? I also got 2 cans of beans. There's tons of beans options. I can always pick up canned beans plus dry beans every time. It's in abundance. So I pulled out a can of chili beans and a can of black beans. And not every time, but again, within 2 to 3, if I'm going every week, every second or third visit, I might have the option to get Italian dressing or, you know, ranch dressing or Catalina or something. So I pulled this out. And then my food bank will give me 7 coffee pods per visit. Or I can take ground coffee, but my coffee pot doesn't do that very well, so this works for me. So I have 7 of those right down here. And then sometimes mushrooms are available. This time of year I can get mushrooms pretty frequently. I didn't have any mushrooms fresh, so I pulled out a little jar that I had canned this summer of mushrooms that I got at the food bank, and we're going to include that in here. Now, if you're having a coronary over that, you just, you know, you do your best to keep that where it needs to be, okay? All right. Now, my food bank also allows me to pick up 3 or 4 treats out of a treat bin. And this is what I picked. And their rule is you can take 4, but you can't take 4 of one kind. You can take 1 of each kind so that everybody gets something, you know, to nibble on. So we have a Skinny Pop. We have, Deanna, did you pull out 2 of the same things? I have 2 little Mati things and 1 protein bar. Okay, now my food bank also, right up until recently, was giving us a pound of cheese every other week, and I have not seen that for a few weeks. However, I have this size chunk of cheese that was a food bank item, which I have been slowly using, very careful with it. We are going to include that in our food bank haul. And also, I can get sour cream about once every other week, and that's what I have here. Now, I also, do I have anything else? I have 1 pound of pasta. I can always get this plus elbow macaroni or, you know, whatever they have. I can't remember what the limitation is on that. I think it's 2. I don't know. It might even be 3. Okay, but we're just pulling 1 out because some of you don't have the same generous food bank that I have. And then I'm looking to see if I got everything. The last thing that we have is, upon occasion, my food bank will have drinks. You've seen me come home with liters of ginger ale. Oh my God, I love that when that happens. Things of Sunny Delight, and a lot of times it'll be pop. Sometimes it's sparkling water, sometimes it'll be pop, sometimes it's zero Coke, sometimes it's something else. So I pulled 4 cans of pop, 2 cans of Pepsi, and 2 cans of Diet Dr. Pepper. And that, my friends, is what we're working with. So I am going to show you what I made for breakfast this morning, and we are going to start this process. I'm also going to take a picture of everything so that we can keep track of what is in this haul so it doesn't get lost in my refrigerator and I end up using something that I didn't show you here. So for a week, woohoo, we're feeding my family out of what is on this table. What is here is going to be good. Anything that's on this table plus salt, pepper, and vegetable oil. Better is going to be those 3 things plus mayonnaise, mustard, and butter. Not 3 pounds of butter, a stick of butter. That's what I get a week when I get it. Okay? And then the best can be something that you may or may not have in your pantry that might make a meal better. For example, you know, on that oatmeal dish we were talking about, maybe you've got some slivered almonds or some walnuts or some pecan pieces to sprinkle on the top of your oatmeal. That would be a good way to go. All right, so I am going to start putting this stuff away where I can find it, and that's what we're going to do. I hope you guys are excited about it as I am. And this might be as good as I look all week, so soak it in, babes. All right, I'll be back. Okay, I can't remember if I showed you these two items or not, but a lot of times I can get cans of fruit, fruit cocktail, peaches, pears, applesauce, and whatever else they have, pineapple recently. So I pulled out 2 cans that are pretty easy for me to get at the food bank every week, a can of pumpkin and a can of applesauce, okay? And then I pulled out, I said I was going to use it, but I didn't show it to you, a cube of butter. And then my food bank will give me a dozen eggs every time I go, but my chickens provide me with eggs. That's going to be a hard one, limiting myself to a dozen eggs a week. But that's what I did. My food bank does not give you 2 dozen or 3 dozen or unlimited eggs. It gives me a dozen. So I will be using this as the base. Everything that I cook will start out good, which means I'll only be using these items plus salt, pepper, and oil. All right? All right. All right, a little housekeeping before we begin. I took the allotted amount of grapes, washed them, and put them in a Tupperware. I also cleaned up my lettuce, and you can see how gorgeous that is, right? Don't be afraid of a little tiny bit of scary on your lettuce. And then I took my carrots, which were a little bit rough, peeled them, and cut them into sizes. This is how much carrot I can use for the week. And then my apples. Now, I showed you that I had 3 apples. But when my husband and I went away last weekend, we took our own food. And one of the things we did is we had a couple of apples, which I cut up and we ate quarters of throughout our, 3 or 4 days. But I also came home with some apple. And this apple is untreated. And there are 8 pieces in there, which is the equivalent of 2 apples. So I took 1 apple and I quartered it. I'm going to add it to this bag, and that's going to be my apple for the week. I'm not going to waste those apples. Now, I did add lemon, so this is good, all right? Just apple slices, even if your apples have been in the refrigerator for a week without any lemon or anything, they're going to get a little bit brown. That's okay. They taste great. Now, I am going to add a teaspoon of lemon to that bag. And so our apples are going to go from good, if we're just eating them plain, to better if we're adding a cap full of lemon to those apples to keep them nice and pretty. Okay? And I showed you that I would be adding lemon to my better ingredients. Okay? So my better ingredients are lemon, mustard, mayonnaise, butter, and I'm not sure, maybe yeast. Okay? So we did that. So now I have some apples that are going to stay fresh for the week. However, because 2/3 of those apples are already a week old, cut and, quartered. So that's a good example of good and better. Now, you might have some caramel dip in your refrigerator, right? You could go from good, which is plain apples, to better apples, which have a little bit of lemon on them to preserve them, to best, which is dipping your apples in a little bit of caramel sauce. I do not have caramel sauce. I can make caramel sauce. I have everything to make caramel sauce, but not with this week's ingredients. I also pulled out the equivalent of 1 cup of diced pepper, and that's it. We're gonna do our best. Now, I just want to go over the rules one more time so that I can remember what I said. I will be feeding my family for a week on the groceries that you saw me pull out. Now, let me have a little caveat. I will try to show you 3 meals a day, but my family, we generally eat only 2. We eat a late breakfast and an early dinner and a snack, and that's it. We rarely do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The good ingredients are whatever you saw me show you, plus salt, pepper, and oil. Okay? The better ingredients include mustard, mayo, I think I added a package of yeast maybe, and sugar, white sugar, brown sugar, and flour. Let me show you that. So I did not give myself an abundance, okay? When I have gone to the food bank, sometimes I've been able to get 1 to 2 pounds of flour, but a lot of times I'll get it in a baggie that's about this big, and usually it's 4 cups. So I have 4 cups of flour here. I can use this not in good, but in better and best. I have white sugar, 1 cup. I can use that sugar not in good, but in better or best. And I also have 1 cup of brown sugar. I can use that in better and best, but not good. Because a lot of people, if they're just trying to survive on what they get at the food bank, they're most likely not going to have this. Or maybe they have a smaller quantity than even what I showed you. On my best, I want to leave some wiggle room, because in your best, you will be able to use what you already have in your cupboards. And so I will... I can't foresee what I'll do, but I may be doing that as well. But I'm not going to go overboard, right? I have maybe, let's say I had a roast in the freezer, and I wanted to make, I don't know. I can't even think of things. I can't pull that roast out and add it to my carrots and say, oh, roast and carrots. Carrots are good. Carrots with a little olive oil, salt and pepper, and, some paprika, that's better. But if you add a roast to it, it's, fantastic. No, I'm going to try to be reasonable. We'll see what happens. Give me some grace, people. I've never done this before. We'll see. All right? Okay. I think that is all my prep work. Oh, let me show you this. Hold on. Okay, except for what is in the refrigerator, like my produce and my dairy and my meats, I have put everything out on this cookie sheet, and I'm going to leave it out, and that's what we're going to work with this week. Okay, phew, scary. All right, everybody, it is Monday evening. It is about almost 5 o'clock, and we are going to start our food bank challenge with supper tonight for Grandma and myself. Now, the reason I say that is because I had a great big container of vegetable cheese soup, and my husband wanted to eat that, and he ate it late this afternoon, and he will not be eating dinner with us, but Grandma and I are going to eat dinner. So this is what we're going to make, because neither one of us are particularly hungry, and I have a lot of things to do tonight, and I'm not going to cook. So we are going to make a convenience meal, and we're going to start with 4 pieces of white bread, 2 for Grandma, 2 for me. Okay? And then we're going to take a can of white chicken. We're going to drain it and mix it up. And we're going to add some sliced grapes and some lettuce to that. And that is going to be our sandwich tonight. That is going to be the good sandwich. Now, we're going to make that a little bit better by adding a little bit of mayo and a little bit of mustard. And I think that will be fantastic, but we're going to take it one step above that, and we're going to go from better to best with a tablespoon or two of sliced almond, which I had in my pantry, and we are going to go ahead and use that. So let's see how this is going to work. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to drain this can of chicken, because I know that in a day or two, I'm going to roast that whole chicken, and that's going to start a great big meal for us. But I also know that after I pick all the meat off those bones, I'm going to throw that carcass in my pressure canner, and I'm going to make broth. So I want to save the chicken broth out of this can to add to what I'm going to do in a few days. Now, hopefully I don't make a huge mess here. Okay, we'll just put that right there. I'm going to pop a lid on this and just go ahead and stick it in my refrigerator. It'll be fine for 2 or 3 days, and I'll just add this to the water and make chicken broth or stock, whichever. All right. Okay, here we go. Here is my drained chicken, and I'm just going to add it to the bowl. I'm going to take a fork and just flake that. Let me bring that forward a little bit. I'm going to flake that into nice little flakes of chicken. Okay, just like that. And to that, I'm going to add a pinch of pepper. And a pinch of salt. Just like that. Now, if this was all we had, we could eat chicken seasoned with salt and pepper. If you had bread, which we do, you could eat it on a slice of bread. Now, I know that I'm going to add to this, so I want to taste this part for you. No mayo, no mustard, no grapes, none of that good stuff. Well, the grapes could go in here because those were part of our food bank haul, so let me actually throw some of those in there before we taste it. Okay, so I'm going to pull out about 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me grab my knife. And I've already washed these. Let's go ahead and come back down. And we're just going to slice those grapes pretty thin. Grandma's out here watching the chickens. Grandma, you let me know if you see them on the porch. Okay?
Yeah.
And actually, 3 grapes might be enough for this little salad. Let's add that. I don't think I need these grapes. Okay, let's add some grape to that. So remember, this is what we got in our food bank haul. Grandma's going to cough up a lung for us. So here we go. Grandma, not a cough all day till I bring her out here.
Right.
Woo! All right, let's taste it. That is good. There's no reason why this would not be good on bread. The grape is sweet, the chicken is tender, the salt and pepper give it some flavor. That is really good. Okay. Now we're going to go from good to better. And I'm going to add about 2 spoons of mayo and a little tiny bit of mustard. Just like that. Okay, let's mix it around. I'll bring it down. Now you could add a little shredded cheese to this. You could add some hard-boiled egg to this, and it would still be good to better. Okay? Or you could add one of those things and call it from good, better to best if you're adding an egg or a little bit of grated cheese. But let's go ahead and taste this. Now that's the way I like it. Let me get a clean piece of silverware. Okay. To me, this is delicious. That is so good, you guys. That is better. That is better than good. All right, now I've opened up my almonds right here, and I'm just going to add about this many. It doesn't take a lot to juju something up and make it really, really yummy. Okay, let me taste a little bite of that for you with the almond and the grape and the mayo and the mustard. Yeah, that is fantastic. Grandma, I'm going to make open-faced chicken sandwiches. Can you eat 1 piece of bread with chicken on it or 2?
Oh dear. I don't know. I don't feel that hungry.
All right, I'm going to start you off with 1, okay?
Yeah, start me out with 1 and then we can add.
All right. Do you want some apple slices?
Nah, I don't have to have that.
Do you want some grapes on the side?
That'd be good.
Okay. All right. So I'll be back when I have my plate and Grandma's plate ready to show you. All right, let me bring you down. So here's our bread with mayo and lettuce on it. And on mine, I want just a little bit more pepper than what I put in the salad. So I'm just going to add mine right there. That should be good. And then let's go ahead and get some chicken salad on top of the bread. Now I have made this sandwich quite often. Sometimes if I have cranberries, dried cranberries, I'll add dried cranberry to it. Sometimes if I have pecans, I'll add pecan to it. Sometimes it's just chicken, mayo, mustard, and grapes. It just depends on what I have. So, let me grab some paper plates. Okay, here's Grandma's plate. Open face chicken sandwich with some grapes on the side. And she is going to finish her Mountain Dew from yesterday today, which was not a food bank item, but that's what she's going to do. I am going to have my 2 chicken sandwiches with a couple of apple wedges, and I will have, if I have anything to drink tonight, it'll just be water. And I'll be perfectly fine with that. And then I don't know if either Grandma and I are going to want snacks later. I don't know. Okay, here is my plate. 2 open-faced chicken sandwiches, 2 apple wedges. I'll be drinking water. This is the leftover chicken salad. If Grandma decides she wants one more whole piece of bread with chicken on it tonight, here it is. If not, either she or I will eat this tomorrow. My husband won't eat this because he doesn't like the mayo, but Grandma and I love it and we'll eat it tomorrow. Okay, here we go.
Good morning, everybody.
Here is my
Tuesday,
drained
October
chicken,
the 29th.
and I'm
It's
just going to
about
add it to the bowl.
9:30 in the morning.
I'm going to take a
Everybody's
fork
up.
and just flake
Grandma
that.
and I both had a cup
bring
of
that
coffee
forward a
this
little bit.
morning.
I'm going to flake that.
Good coffee is just straight
Into
black
nice
coffee.
little
Better
flakes
coffee is
of
coffee
chicken.
with a little milk and sugar, which is what we had. And then if you want best coffee, you can add a little, whipped cream on the top if you want, which is how we normally drink it. We call it Princess Coffee, but not this morning. Okay,
just like
so
that.
I am absolutely not hungry.
And to that,
at
I'm going
all.
to add
And
a pinch
my husband
pepper.
was up way before me, so I don't know if he ate anything or not. But I'm going
And
to
a
fix
pinch
breakfast
of
for Grandma.
salt.
And the first thing that we're going to do is I'm making her oatmeal this morning.
Just like that.
So let's come down here. In this bowl down here
Now,
is uncooked
if this was
oatmeal.
all
it's a
we
half
had,
a cup of oatmeal and 1
We
cup
could
of
eat
water and a
chicken
pinch of
seasoned
salt.
with salt
All of
and
that
pepper.
is in
If you had
the
bread, which we
food
do, you
bank
could eat it on a slice
provisions
of bread.
for this week.
Now I
But
know
I
that
am
I'm
going
going
to take
to
an apple
add to this,
and
so I
I'm
want
going
to
to
taste this
grate
part
it.
for you.
Because a grated
No mayo,
apple
no
will
mustard,
cook a lot faster
no grapes,
in the oatmeal.
None of that good stuff.
Than
Well, the
if I
grapes
chunk
could go
it.
in here because those were part of our food
So,
bank haul. So
I'm
let
trying
me
not to.
actually throw
do
some of
my
those in there
fingers.
before we taste it. Okay,
Ooh, that's a little bit harder than it.
I'm going to pull out about 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me grab my knife. And I've already washed these. Let's go ahead and come back down. And we're just going to slice those grapes pretty thin.
Okay, I don't want to get my fingers.
Grandma's
now I'm
out
gonna
here
just
watching
put
the
that
chickens. Grandma, you let me know if you
apple
see them on the court.
into the oatmeal, and we're going
Okay.
to do this oatmeal. And this is going to be good oatmeal. We haven't added anything extra.
And actually,
So,
that might,
now we're
3
going
grapes
to-
might be enough for this little salad.
But we want to taste it with just the apple and the oatmeal and the salt and see what that tastes like.
Let's add
Okay,
that.
let me put that in the microwave for 2 minutes.
Okay, let's add some grape to
Good
that.
morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, October the 29th.
Remember, this
It
is
is
what we
about
got in our food bank haul.
9:30 in the morning.
Grandma's going to cough up a
everybody's
lung
up.
for us.
Grandma and I both
So, here
had
we
a cup
go.
of coffee this morning. Good coffee is just straight black coffee.
Grandma,
Better
not a
coffee
cough
is
all day
coffee
till I
with,
bring her out here.
A little milk and sugar, which is what we had. And
All
then
right,
if
let's
you
taste
want
it.
best coffee, you can add a little, whipped cream on the top if you want.
That is good.
Which is how we normally drink
There's
it.
no
We call
reason
it
why this
Princess
would not be
coffee,
good
but
on
not
bread.
this morning.
The grape is sweet.
Okay,
The chicken is tender.
So
the salt
I
and
am
pepper give it some
absolutely
flavor.
not
That is
hungry
really good.
at all. And my husband was up way before me, so I don't know if he ate anything or
Okay.
not.
Now we're going to
But
go
I'm going
from
to fix
good
breakfast for
to better.
Grandma. And the first
And I'm
thing that
gonna
we're going
add
to do is I'm making her
about-
oatmeal this morning.
to
So let's come down here. In this
spoons
bowl
of
down
mayo.
here is uncooked oatmeal. It's a half a cup
And
of oatmeal and
a
1
little
cup of water
tiny
and a
bit
pinch of
of
salt.
mustard.
All of that is in the food bank
Just like that.
provisions for this week.
Okay.
But I
Let's
am
mix
going
it
to
around.
take
I'll
an
bring it down.
apple and I'm going to grate it because a grated apple will cook a lot faster in the oatmeal than if I chunk it. So I'm going to try not to do my fingers. Ooh, that's
Now
a
you
little
could
bit harder
add
than
a
it
little
should
shredded cheese to this. You could add some hard-boiled egg to this, and it would still be good to better. Okay? Or you could add one of those things and call it from good, better to best if you're adding an egg or a little bit of grated cheese. But
Okay, I don't
let's
wanna
go
get my
ahead
fingers.
and
Now
taste
I'm going to
this.
just put that apple into the oatmeal, and we're going to do this oatmeal.
Now that's the
And
way
this
I
is
like it.
going to be good
Let me get a
oatmeal.
clean.
We haven't added anything extra.
Okay.
So,
To
Now
me,
we're
this
going
is
to.
delicious.
but we want to taste it with just the apple and the oatmeal and the salt and see what
That is so
tastes
good,
like.
you guys. That is better. That is better than good.
Okay, let me put that in
All
the
right,
microwave
now
for
I've
2
opened up
minutes.
my almonds. Right
Good
here.
morning,
And I'm
everybody.
just gonna
It
add
is Tuesday, October
about
the
this many.
29th. It is about
It doesn't take a lot
9:30 in the morning.
to juju something up and
everybody's
make it
up.
really,
Grandma
really
and I
yummy.
both had a cup of coffee this morning. Good coffee is just straight black coffee. Better coffee is coffee with
Okay, let me taste a little
milk
bite
and
of that
sugar,
for
which
you.
is what we had.
With the
And then if you want
almond
best
and
coffee,
the grape
you can add a
and
little
the mayo and the
you know,
mustard.
whipped cream on the top if you want, which is how we normally drink it. We call it princess coffee, but not this morning. Okay, so
That is
I
fantastic.
am absolutely
Grandma,
not
I'm going to make
hungry at
open-faced
all.
chicken sandwiches.
And,
Can you eat
my
one piece
husband
of
was
bread
up
with
way
chicken on it
before
or
me,
two?
So I don't know if he ate anything or not.
Oh, Peter.
But I'm
know.
gonna fix breakfast for Grandma, and the first
All right,
thing
I'm
that
gonna
we're
start
going
you
to do
off
is
with
I'm
one,
making
okay?
oatmeal this morning. So let's come down here.
All right. Do you
In
want
this
some
bowl
apple
down here
slices?
is uncooked oatmeal. It's a half a cup of oatmeal.
Do you
and
want
1
some
cup of
grapes
water
on the
and a
side?
pinch of salt.
That'd be
All of that
Okay.
is
All right. So I'll be
in
back when I
the
have my plate and Grandma's
food
plate
bank.
ready to show you.
Okay, the oatmeal has come out of the microwave. Let's go ahead and take a look at it down here. This is just the oatmeal and the shredded apple. And I am just going to take a little taste because all this is oatmeal, salt, and apple. And I just want to see what that tastes like, as plain as it can be with just only using food bank supplies for this right here. Okay. It's not bad. It's a little bit sweet from the apple, and the oatmeal tastes good and the salt tastes good. So that's not bad. Okay, now I know that Grandma likes her oatmeal doctored up a little bit. So we are going to doctor up her oatmeal. This is the equivalent of my butter allowance for the week. Oh, this is rough. The butter is probably going to be the hardest thing for me not to do. So we're going to put in some butter, just like that. And then we're going to put in a little bit of brown sugar, and it's going to be about a tablespoon. And I'm going to mix that in. Oh, you're watching me, not the oatmeal. Okay. Okay, let's taste that and see what we think. So good. Okay, now, if we weren't in the middle of this challenge, I would pop some apple slices, pie slices on top of Grandma's oatmeal, and I can still do that today. These are apples that I got at the well, and I canned them up, and this is just one where the lid didn't seal. So we may still do that anyway because I have it here and we're talking about Grandma's oatmeal. So let's go ahead and put just a little spoon of apples on the top. And I wasn't sure I was going to do that. Otherwise, I would have put the apples in when I cooked the oatmeal so that they're warm. So I'm going to warm those back up again. And then we'll also put just a tiny little bit of slivered almonds on the top, just a few, not more than that. And then if you had anything else that you thought would be good on oatmeal, you could add it to that. A little bit of granola, some raisins, some dried cranberries, whatever, a couple of chocolate chips if you've got them in your pantry. You can make that oatmeal really nice. And I'll also pour a little bit of milk over the top of her oatmeal when I pull it out. So let me do that and then I'll come back to you. Okay, I heated up that oatmeal and it is ready to go. I'm just going to drizzle a tiny bit of milk over the top, and that will be Grandma's breakfast this morning. I would eat the same breakfast except that I am absolutely not hungry this morning. Okay, there we go. Grandma's breakfast is ready to go. All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, it is still Tuesday. It's about 12:30, and I went outside to water my chickens and decided to do some heavy gardening for about an hour. I dug up about 7 or 8 dahlia tubers that were on that side of my house and rinsed all the mud off of them, and then took them to my pantry where it's nice and cool, where they can dry out for a few days. And when they're perfectly dry, then I will wrap them in some gerbil bedding. We don't have a gerbil, but I use it in my chickens nesting boxes. I have a sealed bag. I will put some in there, and then I will move them to my greenhouse in a Tupperware container with a lid, and then I will check them every 30 days for damage through the winter. Or my pantry is very cool. I could just leave them in the pantry, which now upon reflection I might do. So I told you this morning I don't get hungry, but I did. So we are having the leftover chicken salad on one piece of bread. We are having a carrot that I cut into some sticks and about 5 grapes. And then I have this apple. And that does not look appealing. It doesn't taste any different. It just doesn't look as pretty as I would like. So I am just going to take my knife and scrape that off. So if you have children that don't want to eat a browned apple, or maybe you're like me and you don't want to eat a browned apple, feel free to just do this. Oh, I forgot to put the lettuce on my salad. Okay, on my sandwich. And then I don't like the ends. And then I am just going to cut that pretty thin because it's easier for me to eat it as thin slices. I should not be cutting on my counter, but I did it. Okay, there we go. So that is lunch today. And my chicken is in the oven. I just put it in for 90 minutes, and I used vegetable oil, salt, pepper, and some garlic parsley seasoning that was in my pantry. Put a little water on the bottom so I can have some nice gravy, and that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna take that off of there. because I desperately want this lettuce on. And then because it's my sandwich and I don't care, I'm just going to pick up my chicken and plop it right back on. Yeah, your girl is not tidy. Okay, that should be good enough. All right. Now, it doesn't look fantastic because I had to redo my sandwich, but actually I think that looks really good. And I am still drinking on my morning water, so that, my friends, is where we're at. Now, I will show you tonight's dinner when I plate it up. Like I said, it's going to be some rice, it's going to be some green beans, and it's going to be roasted chicken. And then I'm going to ask my honey bunny to take all the meat off that chicken because I cannot stand to do that job. It is just nasty, people. So, okay, I will see you at dinner time. Ta-ta. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, October the 30th, and we are beginning day 2, full day. We started Monday night, and we've done all day Tuesday, and today we're starting Wednesday with our food bank challenge. And it is going very well. Let's take a look at what's for breakfast this morning. First of all of us had coffee, and it was delicious, right? Down here, I made breakfast this morning for everybody, and I just made our Egg McMuffin sandwiches. So my husband, he will eat his with 2 pieces of bread because he's a big old man, and some grapes. Grandma and I don't want to eat that heavy, so we like to eat ours open face on a half of an English muffin with some grapes. And honestly, that is way more than I normally eat for breakfast. Possibly, if I were not doing this challenge, I would skip breakfast, but I really want to show that you can feed your family on a week's worth of food bank groceries. And I'm going to have way more left over in the week than I can even, talk to you about. Also, right over here, I have my pressure cooker going this morning with my chicken bones from that chicken I roasted yesterday, some scraps of celery, carrot, and onion that were in my freezer, and I just threw it in there. It's going to pressure cook for a few hours, and then I'm going to can that up. So we're going to get a bonus of 4 quarts of chicken stock or broth, whatever you want to call it. Also, when I'm done eating, I'm going to take the rice that I made last night, right here, and I'm going to make some fried rice because that is something that is easy for us to eat for lunch. And then I'm going to clean out my refrigerator because it's a mess, and I'm going to clean my kitchen. And then I got a bunch of clothes in my pantry because I don't have a dresser. I just have a closet. My stuff is over there by my bed. My stuff is in Grandma's closet. My stuff is in the pantry. Thank God I have stuff. Listen to me complain this morning. I am horrible. Babe, you're off camera, but come and get your plate, sweetheart. There you go. That's my big boy, ladies. Or gentlemen, I don't care which you are. But I hope that if you have a significant other, spouse, whatever it is, I hope that they're as lovely as mine. Mine is yummy scrummy. Okay, let me get Grandma's plate to her, and then I'll sit down and eat, and then I will come back into this kitchen and get some prep work done, because prep makes life easy. We still have so many options for meals this week. Certainly, I've got the leftovers. I've got a big, let's just show you. Wow.
I have a big amount of chicken, and that is because my husband picks it off the bone. People, lovies, if I had to pick it off the bone, it would just go to my chickens. I cannot do it. It is something so foul to me. And it's funny because I was watching a YouTube channel. I think it's called Southern Frugal Mama. I don't know. She cracks me up. She just cracks me up. Sometimes she does her shows and her jammies too. And, you know, some days she's cute as hell. And other days, you know, her hair is a fright and she'll tell you it's a fright. Anyway, I love her. She had to pick a chicken. And she was so funny. She was in there just yanking meat off. And she was saying, look, people, it's a chicken. And you're going to have to get your fingers a little greasy, and there's things you're going to touch that you're not going to want to touch, and it's not going to feel comfortable, but you can do it. I was watching that going, I cannot. She said it again. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Get in there. Just get your hands dirty and get all that meat. Get every little piece. And I was going, I can't. I can't. So thank you to my husband who did this for me. Okay, let's get this day on the books. Let's get it done. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Ta-ta. All right, everybody, I have been so busy today. I have been super productive. It's almost 5 o'clock, and these pajamas have seen me through the day. That's okay, because I had other things to do than worry about getting cute. Okay, let's talk about what's going on. On my counter right here is my pressure canner. Now, by this point in the video, you will have seen that I roasted a chicken. I threw all of its bones in my pressure cooker today, along with some scraps, and I let that pressure cook for about 3 hours. And so my stock is beautifully rich. It is right here. It's got 21 minutes to go. I also made 2 dinners ahead of time. So right here in my crock pot is a big pot of angel hair pasta with meat sauce. And then in the refrigerator, I made some fried rice. And that's the last of my, no, I have a little bit more rice for my chicken soup. So that is 7 cups. So that's 14 servings, half cup, and a half cup is plenty. It's very filling. It's really good too, you guys. And the pasta. So everybody for the next 2 to 3 days can pick what they want for supper. It can be chicken and rice soup. It can be fried rice with chicken. And it can be spaghetti with meat sauce. And the chicken for the fried rice and the... my mind is blank. Chicken and rice soup. That's the chicken that my husband picked off of the bird for me. Let's go down here. I know it's a little bit dark. Can you see my grandmother's? Not this grandma, but my Granny Ruth. She had the old Fiesta ware. These are some pasta bowls. So I'm going to go ahead and feed everybody. And we're just going to have some pasta. Now this is Grandma's plate. I like to cut hers up so she doesn't have to fight it. Can you see me? Okay. There's Grandma's plate. We'll sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese on the top. Grandma, can you say hello?
Hello, everybody.
Can you guys see that? All right, I am going to fix this same bowl for my husband and myself, and I will see you guys tomorrow for breakfast. All right, ta-ta. Okay, let's talk about the spaghetti for a second. The spaghetti, the items that I had, the angel hair pasta, the can of tomato sauce, diced tomatoes, and the can of tomato sauce or spaghetti sauce, that would have made an absolutely perfect thing of spaghetti. That's good. All right. Now, we added some things to it to make it a little bit better. I added some hamburger. I had that 1 pound of hamburger, so that's been added. And I added a jar of my mushrooms. That's been added. And then I have some Parmesan. Oh my gosh. Today it's me coughing a lung out for you guys. Some Parmesan cheese in my pantry, and so we used a little bit of that. So we went from good to better to best. And that's how I kind of want you to start thinking about it. Good is always good, right? When you're hungry, food is food, right? Yeah. So when all the grandkids used to go visit Grandma on her farm in Myrtle Point, Oregon, and she would feed us these gorgeous meals. But here's the thing. What was on your plate is what your choice was. Eat it or go without. She's not doing anything special. She's not feeding you in between. You eat what you get. Now, her cooking was fabulous. So, you know, I bet you all, most of you probably raised your children that way. Maybe some of you raised them a little bit differently, and that's okay. My mom raised me that way, and I raised my kids that way. I'm not a stinking restaurant. I'm not cooking special for you. You eat it or you go without to the next meal. And my kids became adventurous eaters, and they loved most everything that I made. Okay, there we go. Some chit-chat for you for the middle of the video. Tomorrow I might try to make an effort. Or I might not. You guys know you have a really good chance of seeing me in these same jammies, right? All right, ta-ta. Hey, Grandma.
Hi.
You're looking like you're sneaking something.
I got a chicken.
No, you do not.
Oh, yes, he's in the house.
You don't have a chicken in the house.
Sitting on my lap.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, Georgie, did you come in to see Grandma?
Oh, look at that precious thing.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, so Grandma likes to sit by the window at night and watch all her birds and her squirrels, and she used to watch the chickens, but not right now. But anyway, Georgie came in to see her.
Oh, Georgie, you're so pretty.
Oh, Georgie.
Oh, look at the soft one.
Oh, look! Let's look at you. Look over here, Grandma, because you're the cutest. Okay, you want to say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta.